What's going on, everybody? It is U-Turn Crowbat here, and you are watching U-Turn Central. Now, before we get started, please make sure you RCS, rate, comment, and subscribe. And make sure you go into the description and click on the links of the Pokemon groups in the list. Make sure you show Poketown some U-Turn love. So let's get right down into it. This is another Wi-Fi battle against Archimedes. I decided to bring my Durant, my Crocodile, my Swampert, my Zangoose, my Crobat, and my Darmanitan because I know he has a couple of threats there, but let's get right into the battle and see what this matchup will bring. Now, Archimedes is actually a friend of Emmanuel. Now, I had battled Emmanuel a few times here before on U-Turn Central. Now, some of the videos are up, so if you want to go check them out, that would be awesome, because they are some really sick battles. I do love them. But Archimedes decides to switch into, or go into his Ambipom, and I predicted that, so I went into my Durant, and he switches out, thinking I wasn't gonna really predict all that well, and he goes out into his Hitmontop, and he gets the Intimidate off. Oh, but I felt a little cocky, so I decided to use my Iron Head anyways. Now, my Iron Head with the Intimidate did a fair amount. I mean, it didn't really do too much, but it did a little bit more than what I was expecting, which is good. So he goes back out into his Ambipom when I switch out into my Swampert. Now this Life Orb Ambipom does a shit ton to my Swampert with the Fake Out. And so after he loses his HP from the Life Orb, I flinch. Guys, I flinch. Now, that's pretty awful because he does use a U-turn plus the Life Orb, brings me down to about 67 HP, and that's not good for me at all. So I'm kind of thinking I do not want to leave my Swampert in. So he switches his Ambipom out into his Trevenant. Now after this, I wanted to use my Ice Punch on the Ambipom to try and do something. Now he did switch out and go into his Trevenant, and I did get the Ice Punch off on the Trevenant and freeze the mofo. Now, he does get the Lumberry off, which is rather unfortunate because he's not frozen anymore. Now, once I do get my Lefty's recovery, I realize now I can just take my Trevenant out. When that Ambipom was out, I was thinking of just switching out, but he ended up switching his Ambipom out, so I just decided to stay in. So, I do get my Lefty's recovery, which is amazing because it's awesome. Now he goes back out into his Ambipom, and I switch out because my Swampert does not want to take another hit from this Ambipom again. So, I go into my Durant, my incredibly fast Durant. Now, I am resisted to normal type moves, and he uses the Fake Out. And so, with that being said, it does not do too much to me because, well, I resist normal type moves. But he does get a U-turn off with the Life Orb, so, yeah, that's kind of worrisome, because it does get me down to a certain amount where he can just outspeed and take my Durant out. He does switch out into his Mega Heracross, though, and, I do unfortunately miss my X-Scissor, which would have done, well, it would have taken the Ambipom out, so I'm glad that he was able to switch out. Now, he goes out into his Mega Heracross, like I said, and I decided to use my Iron Head on this thing, because I do have an amazing attack with my ability and item that I am holding. So. Man, my voice is squeaking all of a sudden. Yeah, I'm not really sure why. You guys are doing it to me. But he goes out into his Hitmontop and intimidates me once again. And that's rather unfortunate because I can't really do too much. So I switch out into my Swampert. Now, I'm thinking maybe I can try and take this thing out. But he uses the Bulldoze, which does nothing. It does nothing to me. So, I mean, it does lower my speed, which is rather unfortunate, but it does not do a thing to me. So, I get to my Lefty's recovery, and unfortunately, he does use a Toxic. Now, the only Hitmontop that I remember that I've ever went up against, well, not really went up against, but have experienced, is my own Hitmontop. And if I remember correctly, my Hitmontop does not know Toxic. I'm not really sure about that, but this Toxic Hitmontop thing rather surprised me. So I do get hurt from the toxic wall. He takes me out with the close combat. And now that's rather unfortunate for me because my Swampert is out. Now I kind of wish my Swampert would have stayed in a little bit longer, but the thing is, he did his time. He did an amazing job. And so I go into my Crobat because I know I can start kind of taking some of his pokes out with my Brave Bird. So he goes out into his Emapalm. I think he was assuming he was going to outspeed with the Fake Out, but I use my Brave Bird and just annihilate this thing. I just annihilate it. Now I do take the Emapalm out. There you go, son. You're out. Because I do not want the Emapalm staying in, the Emapalm is causing plenty of problems for me. So he switches out into his Hitmontop there, getting the Intimidate off. And I switch out because I don't want to take the risk of me using my Brave Bird and just me not taking it out. So I go out into my Durant. I know that I can take a close combat. Now just leave me at 60 HP, but my Darmanitan is bulky enough that it can take it well. So I use my Flare Blitz on the Hitmontop, taking it out. Now, I do get hit from the Flare Blitz recoil and the Rocky Helmet. So that's leaving me at a disadvantage because any one of his pokes can just take me out. So I'm thinking, what can I do? So he goes out into his Caracasa, which is amazing. But I switch out because I'm thinking I don't want to take an Aqua Jet. So I go into my Blue Flash Zangoose. And he does go for an Aqua Jet, and that does get my my Toxic boost up, which is amazing. Because now I am able to wreck some face. So I just had to use my close combat on the Caracasa because I was not predicting this. I was not predicting the Sturdy. Now the only Caracasa that I've experienced is pretty much my own, if I remember correctly. But my Caracasa has a rock body. Pretty sexy, huh? Yeah, it is. It has a rock body. Now, I was not expecting his Caracasa to have Sturdy. I didn't realize that was a thing. I completely forgot about that. But he does get the Shell Smash off, which is rather unfortunate because he does use another Aqua Jet and just destroys me. I don't know what I was thinking. I mean, I guess I should have kept my Zangoose in, but stupid me. I was thinking I could take it, but of course I can't take it. So, with that being said, I am gonzo. So I go into my Crobat because I'm thinking I can just take it out now, possibly with a Brave Bird. But the thing is, he does get an Aqua Jet off on me and brings me down to where any one of his pokes can just take me out. Now, luckily, his Caracasa was down enough that my Brave Bird Coil isn't gonna do too much. I am living at 16 HP, which sucks. But the thing is, I do have a Roost off, and so I switch out because I'm hoping that I can just switch back in and get my Roost. So I go out into my Durant because I want to try and get an X-Scissor off or an Iron Head. Now, he does use a Fire Blast on my Durant, which sucks so much because he does take him out. Now, with that being said, I'm thinking, what can I do? Because I do not want this Hydreigon to take me out. So I go into my Crobat, and I do get my Roost off, which was my plan. But I was not expecting the Hydreigon to know a Dark Pulse, which sucks because it does just bring me right back down to, like, 3 HP. So there's really no point of using Roost. I'm sorry, 9 HP. Not that it really matters, but I am still living with 9 HP. So I go out into my Boudica, my Crocodile there. Man, I'm just spitting everywhere. So he ends up using the Focus Blast on my Crocodile, which is fine. I mean, it just sucks because I am living with just 15 HP, but I am able to live it. So that's the thing. I am able to get a Thunder Fang off, which I am able to get the Paralysis off, which definitely comes to my favor later on. So he goes out into his Mega Heracross, and he does live after I use my Double Edge right here. He just lives with enough that the Double Edge recoil takes me out. Now I know that I can just take this Heracross out with any move, and I know that I can outspeed with my Darmanitan, because I am Choice Banded plus the Flare Blitz. So I take out the Heracross with my Flare Blitz. Now the thing is, I take my Darmanitan out at the same time. Because, well, I am living at 22 HP. But the thing was that my Flare Blitz does do quite a bit, and this is what I was thinking of right here. That I take myself out right here with my Flare Blitz because that Hydra Gun was just living. It was loving life, but I outsped because of the paralysis. Now, my Flare Blitz did take me out, which sucks, but I am able to live because I do have one poke left. That was the almighty Crobat! And I was able to get the roost off early enough that I was able to make my Crobat live. Now, that was a great battle. Archimedes, if you're watching, I hope you agree that it was a great battle because you brought it all and I brought it all and we smashed it up and we rocked the house. Now, I'm hoping you and I will battle more because this was a great battle, and we will definitely bring more great battles to U-Turn Central. So, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. And don't forget, guys, Arceus, rate, comment, and subscribe. Have a wonderful day, guys. Take care. Peace.